Are you going on the Wonder of the Seas for a cruise or thinking about going on the Wonder of the Seas? If so, this video's for you. I'll do a walking tour of the 3 major neighborhoods. I'll take you to the 2 decks that you'll be spending most of your time on. And I'll take you inside the Windjammer, the buffet that you're gonna eat a lot of food at right after this. Welcome to the Wonder of the Seas. I'll start this walking tour down in the Royal Promenade. Then we'll move up a deck to the Boardwalk, and then we'll move up a few decks to Central Park. Then I'll take you up to deck 16, both starboard and port, and then down 1 deck to deck 15, and we'll end the walking tour at the buffet, the Windjammer. The Wonder of the Seas is an Oasis-class ship in the Royal Caribbean's fleet. She weighs in at almost 237,000 tons. She's 210 feet wide and 1,188 feet long. She has a cruising speed of 22 knots, and she drafts 30 feet. She has a total of 18 decks, 16 of which are accessible by the guests. There's 24 elevators. She can sleep a total of 6,988 guests. That is only 5,734 guests with double occupancy. She has 2,300 crew members from all around the world. Welcome to the Royal Promenade on deck number 5. The Royal Promenade is where you will first get on the Wonder of the Seas. And I'm starting this walking tour in the forward section of the Royal Promenade, heading toward the aft. As you can see here, this is the Spotlight Karaoke. If you want to do karaoke, if that's something you're into, this is the place to go at night because it's hopping and there's tons of people in here singing their favorite tunes. I have to say, you will never catch me in here because I can't sing worth beans, but it is a nice facility for people that enjoy doing karaoke. There's a bar in here that has a full selection of drinks. There's a little stage with the microphones, and it's right across from the Starbucks and Boleros. Boleros is the Latin-inspired bar. They have live music here at night, and it's one of the best places to get a margarita if you're into that, just like the karaoke bar across the way. There's quite a bit of seating. There's a nice sized bar. What's nice about Boleros is the bar is in the round, so there's a lot more seats at the bar. This is the Starbucks that's on the cruise ship. Starbucks is extra. It's not included with any of your drink packages. However, as I will get to in a few moments, there is a place you can get Starbucks coffee for a lot cheaper if you're paying for it, or for free if you have any of the drink packages. This middle section here, during the cruise, there will be people out selling things on sale, like watches and jewelry and things along those lines. It's also a place where you can get some lanyards. The shop here is where you can find your logoed merchandise that says Wonder of the Seas on it. Up ahead is Sorrento's. Sorrento's is your free pizza restaurant. So you can basically go in there and get pizza any time of the day that you want. For the most part, they are closed at night. There's also some of the Coca-Cola machines here. So if you have the soda package or any of the other refreshment packages, you can fill up your glasses here. But they offer several different types of pizza, and you can even order an entire pizza for yourself if you want. There's also seating. Right here is the pub that is on the Wonder of the Seas. And this pub, just like all the other pubs on the Royal Caribbean cruise ships, is very nice. It has live music. The thing that I don't like about them is the fact that they only have a couple beers on tap. The rest are in bottles or in cans. If you really want a lot of beer on tap, then I would suggest going up to the Boardwalk. And right in front of us is the Rising Tide Bar. That bar is pretty much a huge elevator. It takes you from the Royal Promenade on deck 5 up to the Central Park on deck 8. And here is the Cafe Promenade. The Cafe Promenade is where you can get that Starbucks coffee without having to pay the Starbucks prices. And also, if you have one of the refreshment packages or drink packages, you can get your coffee here for free. Across from that is next cruise. If you're thinking about booking another cruise while you're on the ship, this is the place to go. They do offer incentives. You can get a reduced deposit. You can also get some onboard credit usually for booking a cruise on here. Just be careful, because the last cruise that I was on, the couple that Kat and I traveled with, they went in to book a cruise. They got a price with the discount. And then we went to Vacations to Go and got the exact same cabin and everything for $700 cheaper. That is not always the case, but in this case it was. Right here is guest services. If you have any complaints or needs or wants, that's where you can go. It's right by the Rising Tide bar. And across from that is the Bionic bar. So if you're into having a robot make your drinks, this is the place to come. It's all automated. You pick your drink on a iPad sort of device, and those arms will mix it for you. In the back here, there are service desks to help you with your room if you're getting the internet package, and also the shopping people for when you go ashore to go shopping. This is one level up, so we're now on deck 6, where you find the shore excursion desk. You find the focus section, which is where you can get your pictures that everyone takes or buy any camera needs. And the schooner bar is up here as well. The schooner bar is a common feature on every Royal Caribbean ship. And they have nightly music. They do a lot of trivia contests and things along those lines. If we walk towards the stern of the boat, we come to the boardwalk after you walk through these automated doors. The boardwalk, unlike the Royal Promenade, is open to the sky. So if it's raining out, it will be raining in the boardwalk. And up ahead, you can see there's a carousel, and these are samples of the horses as they were being carved. We also have the dog house, which is a complimentary hot dog stand. So if you are into hot dogs, and pop in there at any time and you can get yourself a fresh hot dog. And as I said, this is the carousel. It is really cute, and it is fun to ride even if you're an adult. Off to the left side here is the sugar store, which is where you get all your sugar needs, all your candy. We also have Playmakers up here on the right side. If you're into draft beer, this is where you can go. Now, Playmakers is not covered for your food. It is an extra charge. However, it is not like the specialty dining restaurants. You don't just pay one fee and then eat whatever you want. Everything has a price. So it's basically like you're going to a sports bar. However, the food is very reasonably priced. The beer is fantastic because it's nice and fresh. And they have tons and tons of sports on the various televisions throughout the bar. There's a billiards table, video games, and so on. It's quite nice. Across from that is Johnny Rockets. Johnny Rockets is also not included with the exception of breakfast. So on Wonder, if you want breakfast, that is free, but the rest of the time you pay one fee and you can eat as much as you want. The drinks, however, are not included. And all the way in the back is the AquaTheater. This is where you will see the water shows. Think Cirque du Soleil if you've ever seen it. These water shows are amazing, and they're definitely Vegas quality shows. And up on both the port and starboard side is where you will find the rock climbing walls. These are not like the rock climbing walls on the smaller Royal Caribbean ships. These things are very tall, and they're quite challenging. All right, let's head up to deck number 8 to Central Park. Central Park is just like the boardwalk, open to the sky. So if it is raining out, it will be raining in Central Park. So if it's raining out everyone will flee Central Park and the Boardwalk and will all go down to the Royal Promenade. So if it's raining, the Royal Promenade can get quite crowded. Up here, this glass that's in front of us, you can see down into the Royal Promenade there. On the left side here is Giovanni's. This is the specialty dining Italian restaurant. And right next to it is Giovanni's Wine Bar. So if you're looking for a bar that specializes in wine, this is where you should come. It's also a great place to hide when you first get on the ship, because not many people know about it, and you can just go up there and have a glass of wine and relax until your cabin is available. As you can see, there are real trees and plants in Central Park. It's absolutely gorgeous at nighttime. There are musicians out here playing. You will also find Park Cafe here. This is complimentary, with the exception of the coffees. However, you can come in and get food whenever you want if it's open, and it's just a nice alternative to going to the Windjammer for lunch or any other meal for that matter. Again, on the left, you can see the glass. You can look right down into the Royal Promenade. The Trellis Bar is up ahead. This is a very small bar. If you want to come and listen to the music being played, you can get a drink here at nighttime. And they have some tables around. It doesn't typically get that crowded. I really haven't seen it overly packed compared to some of the other bars. Up in front of us, this is where the Rising Tide Bar ends, which is this structure on the right. And on the left is 150 Central Park. 150 Central Park is a specialty dining restaurant. It is their hoity-toity specialty dining restaurant, and it's not bad. It wasn't fantastic like I thought it would be, but it did have some features that the other specialty dining restaurants don't. And I'm going to do a video shortly that's going to go over all the specialty dining restaurants, their menus, what I thought personally about the food quality, and so on. That'll be in a future video coming up. Up here towards the end of Central Park on the right-hand side is where you will find Chops. Chops Grill is the specialty dining restaurant that specializes in steaks. And that brings us to the end of Central Park. So let's head up to deck 16. This is in the very front of the ship on the starboard side, right by Hooked Seafood that looks down over the solarium. And we're going to walk down 16 towards the stern and go over everything of importance on this deck. Off to the right here, you can see the water slides, and the Wonder of the Seas has a pretty extensive Perfect Storm water slide system, much bigger than the other classes of ships that Royal Caribbean has. The lines for these can get quite long, so I would strongly recommend going in odd times, like first thing in the morning if possible, or during a port day. Down below on this side of the ship is the beach pool. The beach pool has basically lounging chairs right in the water. So if that's something you're into, then this is the pool that you're going to want to visit and go swimming in. There are tons of chairs and loungers all along this deck on both sides. And there's also these little cabanas that you can rent, either for a port or sea day. The port days are much cheaper, the sea days are quite expensive. Now we come up to another pool down below. This is the main pool. There's also a jacuzzi with glass, almost like an infinity jacuzzi that's up here looking over the main pool. And you have the big Jumbotron television set here as well that you can watch various things on throughout the day. Up ahead is El Loco Fresh, which is a Mexican-inspired restaurant. This is included for free with your cruise, and it has tacos and burritos and salsa bars and things along those lines. So again, if you're looking for a place to escape and not go to the Windjammer, this is a very good restaurant. However, as you can see, the line here can get quite long during the day, especially right around lunchtime, because all the people at the pool just hop over here and grab some food. But the food is very, very good here and very fresh, hence the name. One thing I have to say is the seating, it tends to fill up, and usually when I get food there, I take it someplace else. Up ahead here is the miniature golf course, the Wonder Dunes. Just like everything else on the Wonder of the Seas, this is a pretty new ship, and because of that, the miniature golf course is in great shape. And now that we're at the end of the aft end of the ship, this hole that you see in front of me, that is the boardwalk down below. And if we walk down like half a flight, we get down to the Wonder Playscape. This is a play area for the kids that they can spend time in. Also, this is the entrance to the Ultimate Abyss slide. The Ultimate Abyss slide is a dry slide. So you get in this like sack thing and you slide down it, and it looks scary from the outside, but it isn't really that bad when you go down. It's not even really that fast, and it seems to be over as soon as you get into it. It's unbelievable how far down you go, and maybe it's because it's pretty much in the dark that it's not scary, but it's really not bad at all. And this is the single flow rider they have on the Wonder of the Seas. There are classes here you can take. There's boogie boarding that you can do where you lay down. There's stand-up surfing. This is also where you will find the zip line that goes across the boardwalk. So now we're heading down the port side of deck 16. And as I said, down below, this is the boardwalk that we were just on a few minutes ago. This is also where you find the sports court. So you can play basketball. They have dodgeball tournaments on here. Well, not tournaments, but dodgeball competitions. They do all sorts of stuff on that one court throughout the day. Just look at your phone on the app and it will tell you what's going on at the different times. And one thing I noticed is it wasn't very crowded on the sports court compared to a lot of the other Royal Caribbean ships I've been on. Maybe it's just because there's so much more to do. But as you can see right then, there was no one using it at all. And now we are looking down on the other main pool. So the same thing, but on the opposite side of the Central Park hole that you see right there. And there's another hot tub with the glass that you can see through looking out over the pool on this side as well. And we have the lime and coconut bar. If you're up on this deck and you're looking for something to drink, you can head on over to this bar. It is usually not that crowded either. And you can pick up a drink and just go back to your lounge chair or chair that you were sitting in. Down below on this side is Splashaway Bay. This is the little children's youth, whatever you want to call it, area for them to play in and get absolutely soaked. There's these buckets that fill up with water and just completely drench everyone that's in there on a regular basis. And you can also see the water slides off to the right here as well. There's an extensive selection of the water slides. And now we're coming to the other side of Hook Seafood and ending our trip on deck 16. So let's go down to deck 15. We're going to start at the Windjammer, go all the way around, and then come back to the Windjammer. So now we're basically down on the deck that we were looking down onto, and this here is our first pool, and this pool is the main pool that's on this side of the ship. As you can see here, there are loungers in the water here as well. It's just not as beachy of a feel that you would get over at the beach pool. And as always, tons and tons and tons of places to lay out. And up here you will find the lime and coconut bar that's on this deck. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of seating for this bar. And this is a view from ground level of Splashaway Bay. This is the youth or the child water park splash area. As you can see, it just dumps a ton of water on anyone that's anywhere near this thing. Well, you don't get wet when you're in the chairs, but if you step inside, you're going to get soaked. And here are the Perfect Storm water slides down on exit level. Looking up, you can see they're quite extensive for a cruise ship. And now we're getting to the solarium, which is the adults only section. But before we get there, this is the view bar, and it basically is the closest you're going to get to the water while being at a bar. And it's right next to the port side of the solarium here. So now we're entering the solarium. This, as I said, is the adult section. You can walk through here if you're not an adult, but this is primarily just for adults. So if you're looking for a way to escape all the energetic youth on the ship, you can come up here, and it's a little bit more laid back and a little more quiet up here. And up above, where you can see those chairs, that is Hook Seafood on the deck above us. There is tons of seating in this area. There are lots of hot tubs and whirlpools and tons of loungers and these like day beds that you can lay down on. And because it's in the very front of the ship, you can see out over the water and where the ship is going. There's also access to the two fly bridges. However, the captain of the WonderOfTheSeas wasn't into letting the passengers out on those, and most of the time they were closed off, which is odd because the seas were very calm, and yeah, I'm not sure why that is. This is where you will also find the Solarium Bistro. The Solarium Bistro is a free dining alternative. So again, if you're not into going to the Windjammer, this is a place you can come to eat, and it's all included. There's also bars here in the solarium, so if you want something to drink, you can just come up to one of these bars and get yourself a drink. But as you can see, there's tons of these hot tubs all over the place. And once again, up here on the deck above us is where you will find Hook Seafood. I enjoyed Hook Seafood. I actually had a lobster, and it was very good. And it's a specialty dining restaurant, so it's not included. There is an extra fee for that. Now, across the ship from the view bar, roughly, this is where you will find the very, very large whirlpool that looks out over the ocean, or port if you happen to be in port. And it does have a glass wall, so even under the water, it looks out over the ocean when you're in it. This is a popular hot tub, so I would suggest If you want to enjoy it, come when it's first thing in the morning or a port day or sometime that it's just not crowded. And there are times, there's quite a few times I've walked past it throughout the day that there was no one in it. Now we're heading down the starboard side of deck 15. This is where, again, the Perfect Storm water slides empty. This is the beach pool, and as you can see, so these are the actual lounge chairs that are kind of in the water, not just the slabs of stone like you would see in the main pool. And this is a better look at the water slides from this side. There's another lime and coconut bar on this side of the ship as well. And here we come to the main pool that's on this side of the ship. It's basically a mirror image of what's on the other side. And now we're coming to an end of this deck, and we are ending at the Windjammer, which is the included buffet that is on the Wonder of the Seas and all the Royal Caribbean's ships. What's nice about the Windjammer on the Wonder of the Seas is it is much, much larger. One of the problems with going to the Windjammer, especially around meal times on most of the Royal Caribbean's ships, is there's never any place to sit. They fixed that with the Wonder of the Seas. There are seats everywhere. The area is much, much larger, even larger than the other Oasis class ships. So you will not have a problem finding a place to sit. And as you can see, there's tons of different food stations, there's drink stations, there's dessert stations, there's coffee stations. Oh, and one thing I did want to mention, I know I kept saying that the coffee was extra. That's for the coffee beverages like lattes, cappuccinos, and all that. The actual coffee itself is free. And that brings us to the end of our tour of the Windjammer. Now let's take a look at the three main theaters on Wonder of the Seas. The first one is Studio B. This is also known as the ice skating rink. And this is where you'll see all the ice skating shows. And I'm not a huge fan of watching ice skating, but the shows on this ship are fantastic. The second theater is the AquaTheater, which I already showed you, but this will give you an idea of what it's like at night during the shows. Lots and lots of water. If you don't want to get wet, do not sit in the first few rows. If you do, you will get wet. And this is the main Royal Theater where you'll see the bigger production style shows. There were several shows on the cruise I was on throughout the 7 days, and they were all very entertaining. Thank you for watching, and if you got any benefit at all out of this video, please consider giving us a like. And if you're into travel videos and videos along these lines, consider following us. See you next time.